Don't place a trade based on what you'll see in this video because there is no guarantees of making a profit in the market. It takes you a long time to become a good trader. So this video here is just to educate you to become a much better trader. Hey traders, in this video, I'm going to be looking at the long-term silver and gold. What's that big picture doing right now? And also it's a few things that I'm noticing right now on the Dow Jones, S&P 500, and also the Nasdaq. So that's what I want to be talking about in this video. Traders, I've just opened up a few spots to my private coaching program, a weekly coaching program. You'll learn my #1 trading strategy. Every single week you get a coaching session from me, and every day you get coaching from me on the private Facebook group. You see my trades, etc., etc. And then coaching starts straight away and ends at the end of this year. I'm also running a 70% off sale right now as well too for a few spots. So if you're interested in taking some of those spots or those few spots I got open, just email me at Howell, HOWELL trader @gmail.com, and I'll send you all the details. So let me just share with you what I'm seeing right now, guys, on the Dow Jones, because this is really interesting. The first thing, we're looking at this Dow Jones, just a blank chart on this Dow Jones weekly chart, and you can see that how the market has if I just show you this here, right? So the market has made a run up, it's made a high low, it's a high low, a high, a higher high. This is a slight lower low, or sorry, a slight lower high, or a double top formation, right? So a double top through here. So it's really, really, really interesting. If we start to get a weekly close, if this weekly starts to get a close below this level through here, which is just above that 25,000 level, that's going to be really, really interesting. Now, to show you what the daily chart looks like on that there, that's that 26,000 level. As you can see, right, we ran down and now we're just getting a bit of a sideways movement. So double top or slight lower high. We've got a pullback here with small, we're getting a pullback here. If we start to get a bit more of a pullback, say something like this, and then we get something like this breaking down, or probably even lower than that, start to break down below that level, 2600, then that's going to be really, really interesting to see. We'll probably start to see a bit of a sell-off from there. If we go to the S&P 500, pretty much the same thing as the Dow Jones. This is actually a double top formation or slight lower high in the same sort of formation. Now, the interesting one, the interesting index out of all this is the Nasdaq. Now, why is the Nasdaq interesting here? Because that's actually made a definite sort of, it's making a head and shoulder formation right now as I speak. Now it's not a head and shoulder yet, okay? Just because it looks like a head and shoulder right now does not mean it's going to go down, okay? You must understand that. Because we've got this sort of, left shoulder here. We've got the right shoulder over here, which is also a lower high, and head here, which is also a higher high. Okay, so you can see that there, right? So you can see the left shoulder, the head, and the right shoulder there, right? So we've got a nice sort of head and shoulder formation. Head, shoulder formation, okay? So that's how you get the left shoulder, the head, and the right shoulder formation. That's exactly what you can see happening through there. Now, if I bring up, you can see here, the market runs up, comes down, runs up, comes down, runs up, and comes down. So as you can see, right, you can see how shoulder, head, and shoulder formation. So what's happening right now on the Nasdaq is really, really interesting, because this low point through here. Let me bring up all the trend lines through here. Cancel. Let me just delete that there. All right, so this low point through here, right here, this low point right through here is indeed what we're looking at right now. Okay, so we see how we have this bottom, run up, lower high, breakdown. Now, the interesting thing is if we start to get a breakdown below this level through here, which is probably around about that 7,800 level, we'll get a break below that level through there. Then the Nasdaq looks like it's probably going to head us all the way back down towards this sort of 6,000, so 6,500, maybe 6,400, 6,500. Looks like that's where there's a lot of congestion of support levels through there. So really interesting. Moving on now to silver and gold. Big long-term charts as well too, weekly charts. What's happening here right now? We can see that we've had this high point is a significant higher than these highs through here, even this one through here. So this move up, this pullback here, as you can see, right, we had a very strong move up and a very weak pullback. So this pullback's probably likely to be short-lived. Now we're talking about a weekly chart here, so the short-lived is probably likely to be, maybe 2 weeks, maybe another week, who knows, but it's probably likely to be short-lived before we see another leg up like this, like we saw here, right? But as you can see, not every single week is not every single week is a big move up, right? Some weeks are sideways, other weeks are sideways, other weeks are small bars, other weeks are big bars, and so on and so forth. So that's what we're seeing through there right now. I'm very, very, very bullish long-term silver there. And same for gold as well too, right? Look what we're getting through here. Very, 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 very bullish, right? Big move up, nice move up over a couple month period, nice move up. And now we're just getting a very, very, very weak pullback. So that tells me that we're getting ready. Maybe it's got another a month or two or maybe more, I don't know, of this pullback that we're getting right now. Whipsaw, whatever you want to call it, and then we're likely to see a move up from there. So that's what I'm seeing there right now, guys. Looking at that there. Let me just quickly go over and have a look at the US dollar. The US dollar is still powering to the upside through here. So not really much to say on that there, apart from I do believe over the next couple of years we're going to start to see probably at least a 30% devalue of this currency through here. Let me go to this monthly chart for a minute. Yeah, so probably a 30%. I'd probably see like at least a 30% devalue from the. If we go from the low to the high point. Oh, look at that! Absolute low to the high point, come back down, found support at the 60%, and then took off. So, yeah, I definitely see. I only could use the UP. I can't actually bring up the US dollar on the TC2000. If you guys use TC2000 just like I do, let me know how I can bring up the US dollar, right? Because that's what I want to see there. Now, moving on now, guys, moving on now through to some of the other metals. Let's go through to and have a look at, say, GDX. This is GDX weekly chart. As you can see, sort of same thing of the metals as well too. Big run up, and we're getting this very, very, very weak pullback. So I'm expecting the buyers coming soon. Maybe it's got another week or two, or maybe even another month or two of this pullback here to continue. And then I do see another move like this happening in the metals there. So get ready for a nice breakout of this one here, because once that happens, then we're probably likely to see a nice move there. And let's go to the. So that's the GDX there. Let's go to the SIL. All right, SIL, sort of the same thing as well too. Big move up. We had a big double bottom through here. Ran up at a high. Bit of a pullback through here. Again, I do see that to be short-lived as well. And moving on to oil. Oil, we have this major support level around that $50 level. But once we actually break, you can see what's happening right now on the daily chart. Pretty much around that level. A big gap up and a big strong selling move. Now we're getting a bit of a sideways movement. If we do get a bit more of a sideways movement and then a nice breakdown, then that tells me we're likely to head back down towards this low level, which is around that 42.50. Now that's what I'll be looking for as well too. If I go to my USO, which is the ETF that I'll be trading, I'll actually put a trade on that. That'll be something that I'll be looking at. If I can get a bit more of a sideways movement like it is right now, continue to get a bit more sideways movement, and then we get a nice breakdown with an increase in volume, then that'll be something that I'll be looking at the trade, and we'll probably have a very good probability on the USO to get back down towards these low level through, because we've got this major support level there. If we get that sort of action where we get another week's worth of sideways movement and then a breakdown, we're probably likely to head back down towards this low level through, because right here there is absolutely no support at all. It is absolutely just white space, which means there's no support at all, which means it's pretty free and clear to happen pretty quickly as well too. I've seen this happen really fast. Sometimes it happens within a week. Sometimes it happens just within a couple of days, like bam, really quickly. So once it breaks, then it's probably likely to break hard and fast and pretty quickly back down to this low levels of support. So that's what I'm seeing there right now, guys. I hope this helps you out.